the alien princess chose her mate, the youngest human warrior. Ships from countless star systems hovered above the capital, preparing for the ceremony of the royal mate, an event that would determine the future of the Xylarian Empire. Yet, among all the distinguished guests, the presence of humanity's fleet stood out. Humans were newcomers to this part of the galaxy, and their arrival was met with a mix of curiosity and mild skepticism. Kale, the youngest human warrior ever to graduate from Earth's elite Space Defense Academy, stood at the observation deck of the flagship Nova Vanguard. He was 19 years old, slight in stature compared to many alien warriors, but his sharp eyes and steady posture spoke of quiet strength. His short brown hair was slightly ruffled, and his green eyes, bright with intelligence and determination, scanned the horizon of Aurora Prime. Around him, seasoned humans adjusted their armor and checked their weapons, but Kale's mind was elsewhere. "Kale," said Commander Rhea, a veteran of Earth's interstellar campaigns, "you will represent humanity in the tournament. I know you are young, but your skills surpass even some of our senior officers. Remember, this is not just a test of strength. It's a chance to show the galaxy what humans are capable of." Kale nodded, feeling a mix of pride and apprehension. He knew this was more than a personal challenge. Humanity's reputation, fragile and new, rested on his shoulders. Many alien species had doubted humans for centuries, labeling them as weak or reckless. Aurora Prime was the perfect stage to challenge that notion. Across the city, the Xylarian Princess Liara prepared for the ceremony. Her skin shimmered faintly with a silvery hue, a mark of her royal lineage, and her hair flowed like liquid light down her back. She was known across the galaxy for her intelligence, grace, and fierce independence. Unlike previous princesses, she had refused to allow mere wealth or status to determine her mate. Instead, she would choose someone who could stand not just beside her, but with her, facing the dangers of the universe together. Liara watched the crowd gather from the balcony of the royal hall. Delegates from 100 worlds arrived in ships of every design, sleek fighters, massive cruisers, and elegant diplomatic vessels. She smiled slightly when her gaze fell on the human fleet. Small in number compared to the alien empires, their ships still carried an unmistakable confidence. Among the humans, her eyes caught a single figure who moved with both caution and purpose. She didn't know why, but something about him drew her attention. Back on the observation deck, Kale and his team received their final briefings. The tournament, Liara explained through holographic transmission, would test not only physical combat but also intelligence, diplomacy, and teamwork. The prize: the opportunity to become the chosen mate of the Xylarian princess. For humans, it was a chance to forge a lasting alliance, but for Kale, it was a challenge that seemed almost impossible. The first test was the Arena of Strength, a colossal dome where warriors would face simulated combat scenarios. Kale had trained for such trials, but never against alien opponents with abilities and reflexes far beyond those of humans. He could feel the tension among his team. Some of the older human soldiers were skeptical that they could match the Xylarians in raw power, but Kale had a different perspective. He believed that strategy, observation, and courage could overcome brute strength. As the human delegation entered the arena, Kale noticed the other contestants, towering alien warriors with 4 arms, exoskeletal armor, and energy weapons. They glared at the humans with quiet disdain, confident that no human could challenge them. Kale's heart did not falter. Instead, he studied each opponent carefully, noting their movements, their stances, the way they adjusted their weapons. The opening round began. The air crackled with energy as barriers dropped and combatants charged. Kale faced a giant alien with metallic skin and glowing eyes. The alien swung a massive energy hammer, expecting Kale to crumble under the blow. Kale dodged swiftly, rolling to the side and using the arena's terrain to his advantage. He moved not with strength but with precision, striking weak points and predicting his opponent's attacks. Each move was calculated, intelligent, and unexpected. From the balcony above, Liara watched with growing fascination. Here was a human, small and seemingly fragile, yet moving with courage and confidence unmatched by others. She whispered to herself, "Interesting. Very interesting." Kale's victories in the first few rounds did not go unnoticed. Alien spectators murmured among themselves, some in disbelief, others in admiration. Humans were not supposed to be fast, strong, or smart enough to surpass seasoned Xylarian warriors. Yet Kale demonstrated a combination of agility, critical thinking, and resilience that made him a serious contender. During a break between rounds, Kale walked among the competitors, offering a hand to help a fallen alien warrior. Some competitors looked at him with suspicion, unaccustomed to such gestures. Others accepted it, and a few even smiled. This simple act of kindness caught Liara's attention. Unlike the other contestants, Kale was not motivated by glory or power. He moved with a sense of duty, compassion, and respect. The next test was the challenge of minds, designed to assess intelligence and problem-solving. Contestants were presented with complex alien technologies, cryptic codes, and strategic puzzles that required both logic and creativity. Kale approached the challenge differently from the others. While many aliens relied on brute force or advanced knowledge of Xylarian science, Kale applied human intuition, lateral thinking, and careful observation. He solved puzzles in ways that impressed even the judges, earning high marks. Meanwhile, in the observation galleries, Liara could not take her eyes off him. His method of thinking was unlike anything she had seen before. Most contestants relied on their natural abilities, but Kale combined curiosity, empathy, and intelligence, a rare combination. She felt a spark of respect and intrigue. As the sun set over Aurora Prime, the first day of the tournament concluded. Kale returned to the human camp, exhausted but not defeated. He knew the challenges ahead would be harder. The finals would test not only strength and intelligence but also teamwork, leadership, and courage. Yet Kale felt ready. He was no longer just representing himself. He represented all of humanity. That night, under the twin moons, Kale sat quietly, looking at the stars. The galaxy felt vast and intimidating, but he was determined. Humanity was young, small in number, and untested on this stage, but he believed in human potential. Humans had survived countless hardships on Earth, faced dangers far greater than any alien could imagine, and emerged stronger every time. He would carry that spirit into the tournament and into the eyes of the Xylarian princess. In the royal hall, Liara walked through the grand corridors, thinking about the competitors. She had seen warriors from dozens of species, each more skilled than the last, yet Kale's presence lingered in her mind. There was a balance in him, a combination of strength, intelligence, and heart. She wondered if perhaps, for the first time, the choice of a mate would be about more than tradition, wealth, or strength. Perhaps it could be about something deeper. As the twin moons rose over Aurora Prime, casting a soft silver light across the crystalline towers, Kale and Liara, separated by species, experience, and expectations, stood on the edge of destiny. The tournament had begun, and with it, the possibility of changing the galaxy's perception of humanity forever. Tomorrow would bring the next challenge, one of strategy, teamwork, and the beginning of tests that would determine not just who could survive, but who could lead, inspire, and prove the true worth of the human spirit. Kale took a deep breath, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. No one had ever expected a human to succeed here, but perhaps it was time that expectations changed. And somewhere high above, Liara's eyes shone with curiosity and a spark of anticipation. The youngest human warrior had already captured her attention. The story of humanity and of Kale was just beginning. The next morning, Aurora Prime shimmered under the light of its twin suns. The city was alive with activity as delegates and spectators gathered for the next stage of the tournament. This round, called the Tournament of Might and Mind, was designed to test not just strength, but intelligence, strategy, and adaptability. The arena was larger than Kale had ever imagined, stretching several kilometers in diameter, filled with shifting landscapes, simulated hazards, and holographic projections. Kale stepped onto the entrance platform, feeling a mixture of excitement and determination. Around him, alien competitors adjusted their weapons and examined the terrain with calculated precision. Some had extra limbs, some had enhanced senses, and many exuded confidence that bordered on arrogance. Humans, in comparison, looked ordinary, yet Kale felt no fear. He trusted in his training, his instincts, and his ability to think differently. The tournament master, a towering Zalarian named Valor, addressed the competitors. His voice echoed across the arena, carrying authority and a subtle challenge. This round will test your ingenuity and courage. Only those who can combine mind and might will advance. Show your true worth. The first challenge began. A simulated battlefield where teams had to navigate treacherous terrain, avoid hazards, and capture energy nodes scattered across the arena. Kale's team consisted of 3 humans, all skilled, but inexperienced in alien competitions. The opposing teams were aliens of various species, each with unique abilities. Many underestimated the human team, assuming that their small size and lack of natural advantages would make them easy targets. As the battle started, Kale observed carefully. He noticed the alien teams often relied on brute force or speed, rushing toward objectives without considering the consequences. Kale, however, analyzed patterns, predicted enemy movements, and directed his teammates strategically. They moved quietly, using cover, setting traps, and outsmarting opponents rather than overpowering them. In one instance, a massive alien with reinforced armor charged at Kale's team. Kale instructed his teammates to split and distract the opponent, while he used a small device to temporarily disable the alien's armor. The move worked perfectly, and the human team secured a critical energy node. Spectators murmured in surprise. No human had demonstrated such tactical thinking against these experienced aliens before. Liara watched from her royal balcony, her interest in Kale growing. Unlike other competitors, Kale did not act out of pride or desire for glory. He considered the safety of his teammates and even his opponents. When an alien fell into a hazardous zone, Kale directed his team to rescue them, prioritizing life over points. Many in the audience found it unusual, but Liara saw something remarkable, a combination of courage, intelligence, and compassion. The next challenge focused on puzzles and strategy. Each team was given a set of alien artifacts that required logic, intuition, and creativity to unlock. Kale studied the devices, noting patterns and experimenting carefully. Other teams tried to force solutions with advanced technology, but Kale approached each puzzle systematically. He observed, hypothesized, tested, and adjusted. Slowly, his team began unlocking the devices, earning points not just for speed but for accuracy and ingenuity. During a particularly tricky puzzle, Kale's teammate, Lyra, hesitated. The mechanism could have been dangerous if handled incorrectly. Kale calmly instructed her, explaining the logic step by step. Together, they solved the puzzle, impressing the judges. Kale's leadership was quiet but effective. He did not dominate, he guided, encouraged, and inspired his team. In a brief moment of rest, Kale glanced around the arena. He noticed some of the alien competitors were frustrated and angry, unable to understand how a human team could compete so effectively. He felt no pride in their frustration. Instead, he reminded himself that this was not about proving superiority over others. It was about doing the best he could with the abilities he had. Meanwhile, Liara's thoughts wandered. Most competitors sought to impress her with strength, agility, or cunning. Kale did none of these overtly. Yet every move he made demonstrated a deep understanding of the situation, a respect for life, and a natural ability to lead. She found herself intrigued and slightly unsettled. Was this young human truly different from all the others she had seen? The final test of the day involved a combination of physical endurance and mental agility. Contestants had to navigate a labyrinth filled with traps, riddles, and hostile drones. Many aliens relied on brute force, smashing obstacles or activating weapons carelessly. Kale, however, observed the labyrinth carefully. He studied the traps, anticipated the drone's movements, and found paths that minimized risk while maximizing efficiency. At one point, Kale faced a drone that blocked his path. Its energy field was too strong to break, and direct combat would have been dangerous. Thinking quickly, Kale noticed a reflective surface nearby. Using a small mirror, he redirected the drone's energy beam toward a harmless wall, creating a path forward. This combination of observation, creativity, and quick thinking earned him admiration from both humans and aliens alike. By the end of the day, Kale's team had advanced to the top ranks. They were not the fastest or the strongest, but their combination of strategy, teamwork, and courage set them apart. Liara could not hide her growing respect for Kale. Here was a human who did not merely survive the tournament, he elevated it. He had shown that intelligence, empathy, and bravery could match or surpass natural advantages. That evening, the competitors gathered in the central plaza for the ceremonial reflection. Holographic displays highlighted the day's achievements, and the crowd cheered for outstanding performers. Kale remained humble, quietly acknowledging his teammates and the alien competitors he had worked alongside. He did not seek attention or accolades, he simply wanted to do what was right. Liara descended from her balcony to meet the finalists. As she walked among the competitors, her gaze lingered on Kale. She approached him, and he straightened, unsure of what to expect. "You have performed admirably," she said, her voice both melodic and firm. "I have observed many warriors today, yet your approach is unusual. You combine skill, intelligence, and compassion in ways I did not expect from a human." Kale bowed respectfully. "Thank you, Princess Liara. I have learned that success is not just about strength. It is about understanding, working together, and protecting those who cannot protect themselves." Liara smiled, a hint of admiration in her eyes. "Indeed. Perhaps there is more to humans than I, or the galaxy, had imagined." She turned and walked away, leaving Kale with a mixture of pride and curiosity. What did she mean by that? And why did her words feel significant? That night, Kale and his team gathered in their quarters. They reviewed the day's events, strategized for upcoming challenges, and shared stories of Earth and their training. Kale listened more than he spoke, absorbing insights and observing his teammates' strengths and weaknesses. Leadership, he knew, was not about giving orders. It was about understanding people and bringing out the best in them. The twin moons of Aurora Prime rose once again, casting a soft, silver light across the city. Kale stepped onto a balcony, staring at the alien skyline. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, and he knew they would be even more difficult. But he felt ready. Humans were underestimated, yes, but that gave them an advantage. Others expected them to fail. That expectation could be turned into a strength. Liara, high in her palace tower, also looked out over the city. Kale's performance had left an impression she could not ignore. He was not the tallest, strongest, or most technologically advanced competitor, yet he had proven himself through intelligence, courage, and empathy. She felt a flicker of excitement. Could this human truly be the one she was meant to choose? As the stars appeared in the sky, a quiet determination filled both their hearts. The tournament was far from over, but something had already changed. Kale had begun to shift the galaxy's perception of humans. and Liara had begun to see a possibility she had never considered before. In the days to come, alliances would form and be tested, strategies would be challenged, and the young human warrior would face obstacles that no one else could overcome. Yet for Kale, every challenge was an opportunity to prove himself, to protect his team, and to show the universe that humanity, though young and small in number, possessed a spirit unmatched by any alien race. And somewhere deep in the palace, Liara smiled softly, knowing that the tournament of might and mind had already produced a competitor unlike any she had ever encountered, and perhaps a future partner who could stand beside her not through tradition or expectation, but through courage, intelligence, and heart. The morning sun rose over Aurora Prime, casting warm light across the crystalline towers and green valleys. The city, usually peaceful, hummed with nervous energy. Word had spread that a fleet of Vorath raiders, a warlike alien species from a distant system, was approaching the planet. Their ships were massive, armed with devastating weapons, and known for their brutality. The Zalarian Empire, despite its advanced technology, had never faced an invasion of this scale. Kale stood on the deck of the human ship Nova Vanguard, gazing at the approaching fleet. Beside him, Commander Rhea adjusted her uniform, her expression tense but resolute. "Kale, this is no tournament," she said. "These raiders will not play by any rules. We must defend the city, and humanity's role is critical. Are you ready?" Kale clenched his fists, feeling a surge of determination. "We are humans. We survive, we fight, and we think differently. We have a chance to make a difference here, Commander. Let's do it." The human fleet moved into position alongside the Zalarian defenders. While humans had fewer ships and smaller weapons compared to the Zalarian fleet, Kale knew that ingenuity could be more powerful than sheer size. He studied the Vorath formation carefully, noting gaps in their defenses and patterns in their attack formation. Princess Liara observed from the royal hall's observation balcony. She had watched many warriors compete in tournaments, but this was different. The stakes were real, lives hung in the balance, and she needed someone who could think, adapt, and act decisively. Her eyes searched for Kale, and when she saw him standing at the command console, analyzing every move, she felt a spark of hope. The Vorath fleet advanced, their massive warships firing energy beams that carved through the atmosphere. Explosions lit up the skies as smaller fighter ships swarmed in, targeting defensive positions. Chaos threatened to spread across the city, but Kale remained calm. He quickly devised a plan. Humans would use their smaller, faster ships to harass the Vorath fighters, drawing them away from the main city, while Zalarian warships would engage the larger vessels. Kale communicated his strategy to Commander Rhea. "We need to split their attention. Humans are small and fast. We can hit weak points in their formation and force them to spread thin. It won't be easy, but it will give the Zalarians a chance to protect the city." Rhea nodded. "You're in command of the human squadron. Lead them, Kale. Show them what humans are capable of." The humans leapt into action. Kale's ship, nimble and precise, darted between enemy fighters. He anticipated their movements, cutting off escape routes and guiding his squadron to strike key targets. His actions were not just instinct. They were calculated, each decision designed to maximize impact while minimizing risk to his team. In one critical moment, a Vorath fighter attempted to ram Kale's ship. With split-second timing, Kale maneuvered, using the enemy's momentum against them. The fighter crashed into a larger ship, causing a chain reaction that damaged several other enemy vessels. His squadron cheered through their comm systems, inspired by his daring and skill. Meanwhile, Liara watched intently. Kale's approach was unlike any warrior she had ever seen. He was not reckless, but neither was he afraid. He combined courage with intelligence, strategy with instinct. And more than that, he cared about the lives of those around him, human and alien alike. The battle intensified as Voreth warships targeted the city's energy shields. Kale realized that the shields could not withstand prolonged bombardment. He made a quick decision. We need to divert their attention, split into two teams. Team A, follow me to the outer sector. Team B, engage their fighters and protect the city center. His plan worked. The Voreth fleet, confused by the unexpected human maneuvers, split their forces. Human pilots, guided by Kale's precise instructions, harassed the enemy ships, using unconventional tactics that the Voreth had never seen. They exploited blind spots, created decoys, and used environmental hazards to their advantage. During the chaos, Kale noticed a massive Voreth flagship attempting to flank the human squadron. Its energy cannons were powerful enough to destroy a city block. Kale calculated a risky maneuver: lure it toward the canyon. We can use the terrain to trap it. He guided his squadron through a narrow pass, the enemy ship following aggressively. With perfect timing, Kale triggered a controlled explosion, collapsing part of the canyon and immobilizing the flagship. The human squadron erupted in cheers. Kale, though exhilarated, quickly refocused. The battle was not over. Smaller Voreth fighters continued to swarm, but the momentum had shifted. Inspired by the humans' bravery and ingenuity, Xylarian forces pressed forward with renewed vigor. Back in the royal hall, Liara's heart raced. Kale's leadership and courage were undeniable. She realized that this young human had qualities that few Xylarians possessed: intelligence, bravery, adaptability, and a deep sense of responsibility. He was not just fighting, he was inspiring everyone around him. The final phase of the battle arrived. Voreth reinforcements were approaching, determined to crush the defenders once and for all. Kale, assessing the situation, noticed a critical weakness in their formation: a gap between the frontline fighters and the capital's orbiting defense satellites. If he could exploit it, they could turn the tide completely. "Form a wedge formation," Kale commanded. "We hit the gap, disable their navigation, and force them to retreat." Human ships followed his instructions precisely. Using speed, timing, and precision, they penetrated the enemy line, targeting the command ships. Explosions rocked the sky as Voreth vessels were disabled or forced to retreat. Xylarian forces surged forward, driving the remaining enemy ships away from Aurora Prime. When the dust settled, the city was safe, the Voreth retreating in disarray. Kale's squadron returned to the command platform, exhausted but victorious. Commander Rhea placed a hand on his shoulder. "You did it, Kale. You saved the city." Kale shook his head. "We did it. Humans, Xylarians, everyone who fought together. We all made a difference." Liara descended to the battlefield to meet the young warrior. Her silver hair glowed in the light of the twin suns. "Kale," she said, her voice steady but filled with admiration, "today you have shown what it means to be truly courageous. Not just in strength, but in wisdom, leadership, and compassion. You risked your life for others and in doing so inspired an entire planet." Kale bowed respectfully. "Thank you, Princess Liara. I did what anyone would do to protect others." "We are all stronger when we work together." Liara's eyes shone with something beyond admiration: respect, curiosity, and a spark of something she had not felt before. "You are unlike any warrior I have ever met. Perhaps unlike any being I have ever met." As evening fell, the city celebrated. Humans and Xylarians alike shared stories of the battle, praising Kale and his squadron. For the first time, many aliens began to see humans not as fragile newcomers, but as a species of courage, intelligence, and resilience. Kale returned to his quarters weary but satisfied. He knew the tournament was not yet over. Other challenges awaited, tests of skill, strategy, and character. But today had proven something important. Humans could stand alongside the galaxy's greatest warriors and make a difference. Liara, in her palace, gazed out at the stars. The young human had captured her attention, not through showy displays of power, but through his courage, intelligence, and heart. She wondered what the future held. Could this human truly be the one she was meant to choose? Only time would tell, but for now she felt a quiet certainty that Kale was extraordinary. As the twin moons of Aurora Prime rose, casting silver light across the city, Kale and Liara, two beings from vastly different worlds, stood on the edge of destiny. The galaxy had witnessed the rise of a new hero, and the bond between humans and Xylarians had never been stronger. Tomorrow would bring new trials, but Kale had already proven that courage, intelligence, and compassion could overcome even the most fearsome threats. Humanity, though young in the galaxy, had made its mark, and somewhere in the palace, Liara smiled, knowing that the young human warrior had not only won her respect but also her curiosity and admiration. The battle was won, but the journey had only just begun. The galaxy would never see humans the same way again, and Kale, humble, brave, and wise beyond his years, was ready for whatever challenges awaited. The day following the great battle against the Vorath, Aurora Prime seemed brighter, as if the planet itself was celebrating the courage of those who had defended it. Citizens lined the streets, cheering for the warriors who had saved their home, and among the heroes, Kale stood humbly with his fellow humans. Though exhausted from the previous day's battle, he felt a quiet sense of accomplishment. The Xylarian Empire had a tradition that had lasted for centuries. The royal princess would choose her mate during a grand ceremonial event. Competitors from the tournament would be evaluated not only on skill and intelligence, but also on their character, courage, and how they inspired others. For most, the ceremony was formal and predictable, but Kale knew that nothing about this was ordinary, especially now, after the chaos of the Vorath attack. Princess Liara prepared for the ceremony in the grand hall of the palace, a space that stretched high above the city with walls of shimmering crystal and floors of polished metal. She walked among artifacts of her ancestors, each piece a reminder of the weight of her responsibilities. Unlike past ceremonies, Liara felt a genuine curiosity about the competitor who had impressed her most, Kale, the young human warrior. Liara had watched him closely during the tournament, noting not just his skill but his thoughtfulness. In the battle against the Vorath, he had led with strategy, protected his teammates, and inspired both humans and Xylarians alike. He had acted with courage and wisdom, without arrogance, and that had set him apart from every other competitor she had met. As the ceremonial moment arrived, Liara took her place on the balcony overlooking the assembled finalists. The competitors stood in order, each displaying their abilities, composure, and loyalty. Kale, though young and small compared to many of the aliens, stood tall, his posture calm and confident. He did not boast or seek attention. Instead, his quiet strength spoke louder than any display of power could. Valor, the tournament master, announced the final evaluation. "Competitors," he said, his voice echoing through the hall, "today is not only about skill. Today is about who will inspire, who will protect, and who will rise to the challenge of standing beside our princess in a galaxy full of danger and possibility. The choice is hers." Liara's gaze swept over the competitors. One by one, she assessed their performance, their actions, and their character. Many had fought bravely, some had displayed intelligence, and a few had even acted with compassion. But Kale was different. His courage had been tested against real threats, his intelligence had solved puzzles and strategies beyond his species, reputation, and his heart had guided every decision he made. She descended from the balcony, her silvery hair catching the light, and approached the finalists. Kale's eyes met hers and he bowed respectfully. "Princess Liara," he said quietly, "it has been an honor to participate in your tournament and to protect your planet. I have learned much from this experience, and I am grateful for the opportunity to serve." Liara's eyes softened. "Kale, you have done more than serve. You have inspired. You have shown courage where many would have faltered, intelligence where others would have rushed blindly, and compassion where it was not required. These qualities are rare. Kale straightened. Thank you, Princess. I believe that strength without wisdom or heart is meaningless. I only did what I could to help others. The crowd of spectators held its breath. This was not a typical declaration of skill or ambition. Kale's humility, honesty, and integrity were evident to all. The other competitors, though skilled and powerful, could not match the quiet dignity he displayed. Liara took a deep breath. The choice I make today is not based on power, wealth, or tradition. It is based on character, courage, and the ability to inspire others. Kale, the youngest human warrior, you have earned my respect and admiration in ways no one else has. You are the one I choose as my mate. Gasps filled the hall. Many could not believe that a human, small, young, and from a species new to the galaxy, would be chosen over seasoned alien warriors. Some whispered, skeptical of how a human could hold such honor. But Liara's voice remained steady, her eyes locked on Kale's. Your heart, mind, and spirit have proven more valuable than any title, strength, or wealth. Will you accept this responsibility? Kale's heart pounded. This moment was beyond anything he had imagined. He bowed deeply once more. Princess Liara, I accept with honor and humility. I will stand beside you, protect you, and learn from you. Together, we will face any challenge the galaxy presents. A cheer erupted from the crowd, louder than any battle cry. Humans and Xylarians alike celebrated the unprecedented choice. It was not merely a declaration of a mate, but a symbol. Humans, though young in the galaxy, were a species capable of great courage, intelligence, and heart. The ceremony continued, highlighting Kale's actions during the tournament and the battle against the Vorath. He did not seek recognition, yet his deeds spoke for themselves. Stories of his strategic maneuvers, his protection of teammates, and his leadership spread through the audience, inspiring admiration and respect. As the formalities ended, Kale and Liara spent time together, walking through the palace gardens filled with glowing flora and softly humming fountains. For the first time, they were not warrior and princess, competitor and judge. They were simply two individuals learning about one another. Liara asked, Kale, I saw how you think and act. Your approach is different from anything I have encountered. How do you remain so calm under pressure? Kale smiled softly. I focus on what I can control and I trust those around me. Fear is natural, but it does not define our actions. What matters is doing what is right, even when it is hard. Liara nodded thoughtfully. That is a rare quality. Many leaders in my galaxy rely on power or intimidation, but you rely on understanding and courage. It is inspiring. Kale looked at her, curiosity shining in his eyes. You inspire me as well, Princess. Not just because of your strength or wisdom, but because you choose to value character and heart above everything else. That is the kind of leader the galaxy needs. They walked in silence for a moment, watching the twin moons rise over the palace towers. A sense of calm and understanding settled between them. Liara realized that Kale was not just a warrior. He was a person who could be a partner, a friend, and a companion in the challenges ahead. Over the next few days, preparations began for the formal union, a process that would also serve as a diplomatic gesture to unite humans and Xylarians. Kale trained alongside Xylarian warriors, learning their techniques and sharing his own strategies. He was careful to respect their customs while also demonstrating the unique strengths of humanity. Liara observed his interactions closely. Kale's humility, intelligence, and courage continued to impress her. He did not demand attention or recognition, yet he naturally earned respect from those around him. Even the skeptical Xylarians began to acknowledge that the young human warrior had qualities far beyond what they had expected from a newcomer species. In private moments, Liara and Kale discussed their hopes for the future. Kale spoke of Earth, of humanity's struggles and triumphs, and of the lessons he had learned from his people. Liara shared stories of her ancestors, of the traditions that guided the Zalarian Empire, and of her own dreams for unity and peace among the stars. Through these conversations, their connection deepened. Liara admired Kale's ability to lead without arrogance, to act with courage without seeking glory, and to inspire without demanding attention. Kale admired Liara's intelligence, compassion, and unwavering commitment to her people. Together, they realized that their partnership could be more than personal. It could serve as a bridge between worlds. When the formal ceremony arrived, Aurora Prime's skies were filled with spectators from across the galaxy. The twin suns cast a radiant glow over the city, and the streets echoed with cheers for the heroes of the Voreth battle. Liara and Kale stood together at the palace balcony, facing the assembled crowd. Liara spoke first, her voice clear and confident. Today, we celebrate not just victory over our enemies but the unity of different worlds. Kale, you have demonstrated courage, wisdom, and heart. You have earned my respect and my choice. Together, we will face the future, side by side. Kale bowed respectfully, his voice steady. Princess Liara, I accept this honor with humility. I will stand with you, learn from you, and protect those who cannot protect themselves. Together, we will build a stronger, united future. The crowd erupted in applause, celebrating the unprecedented union. Humans and Xylarians cheered together, their voices blending into a chorus of hope and admiration. The choice of the princess was more than personal. It was a declaration that courage, intelligence, and heart could transcend tradition, expectation, and even species. As the ceremony concluded, Kale and Liara shared a quiet moment. Liara smiled. I believe this is the beginning of something remarkable, not just for us but for the galaxy, Kale nodded. I feel the same way. Together we can face any challenge, protect those who need it, and inspire others to do the same. Under the twin moons of Aurora Prime, the young human warrior and the alien princess stood side by side. Their bond was forged through trials, courage, and mutual respect, and it marked the beginning of a new era, a time when the galaxy would see humanity not as newcomers, but as worthy allies and champions of hope. The twin suns of Aurora Prime rose slowly over the horizon there. Golden light, reflecting off the crystal towers of the Zalarian capital. The city buzzed with excitement, but this time, the energy was not born of battle or tension. It was a celebration of unity, courage, and a new beginning. The recent tournament and the extraordinary events that followed had changed the galaxy's perception of humanity forever. Kale stood on the balcony of the royal hall, gazing over the city alongside Princess Liara. He was still young, still learning, but he had grown in ways he could never have imagined. The galaxy had witnessed the strength of human courage, intelligence, and heart. And today he felt the full weight of responsibility, not as a warrior alone, but as a representative of his species, a partner to the princess, and a beacon of hope for the future. Liara turned to him, her silver eyes filled with admiration and warmth. Kale, the galaxy looks at you differently now. Humanity is no longer underestimated. They see your courage, your intelligence, and your heart. Kale smiled quietly. I did not do it for recognition. I only wanted to do what was right. But if it inspires others, then that is something I am proud of. The palace erupted in activity as preparations began for the Galactic Unity Council, a gathering of delegates from dozens of systems, invited to witness the new partnership between humans and Xylarians. The council would not only acknowledge Kale and Liara's union, but also formalize a new alliance that could bring stability and cooperation to the galaxy. As Kale walked through the palace halls, he noticed how humans and Xylarians worked side by side, exchanging knowledge, tactics, and culture. Human engineers shared Earth's innovations in starship design, while Xylarians taught humans advanced energy manipulation techniques. Kale watched with pride as collaboration flourished. Humanity, though young in the stars, was proving itself a capable and reliable partner. Liara joined him in the council chamber, where delegates from various worlds had already gathered. She spoke first, her voice calm but commanding. Leaders of the galaxy, we are here to acknowledge a new era. Through courage, wisdom, and collaboration, we have faced threats that could have destroyed entire worlds. And through these trials, we have discovered the value of trust, respect, and understanding between species. Kale stepped forward beside her. He spoke simply but with conviction. Humans have come far and we still have much to learn. But we have proven that courage, teamwork, and heart can overcome even the most daunting challenges. Together, with allies of all worlds, we can build a galaxy where knowledge, cooperation, and respect guide our future. The council erupted in applause. For the first time, many delegates saw humans not as newcomers or weaklings, but as a species capable of heroism, ingenuity, and leadership. Kale's words resonated across the galaxy, and Liara's presence emphasized that the choice of the princess had symbolic meaning far beyond a single union. Days turned into weeks as Kale and Liara began to work closely together. They trained with warriors from different species, strategized with scientists and diplomats, and undertook missions to strengthen alliances across the galaxy. Kale learned the subtleties of Xylarian customs, while Liara gained insight into human ingenuity and determination. Together, they became a symbol of unity and hope. One morning, Kale received a message from Earth. The humans at home were following the events of Aurora Prime with pride and amazement. They had heard of Kale's courage, his leadership in the Vorath battle, and his recognition by the Xylarian princess. For the first time, humans felt that they had a true place among the stars, not as bystanders but as equals and partners. Liara joined Kale as he read the message. "Your people are proud of you," she said softly, "and rightly so. You have done more than prove your skill. You have shown what humans are capable of." Kale shook his head. "It is not just me. It is all of us, humans and Xylarians working together. We are stronger when we cooperate. That is the lesson I hope the galaxy remembers." As the months passed, Kale and Liara led several exploratory missions to distant systems, resolving conflicts, mediating disputes, and offering aid where it was needed. Their partnership became legendary. Aliens who had once doubted humanity now sought their guidance, recognizing the value of collaboration over competition. During one mission, they discovered a planet threatened by environmental collapse. Kale coordinated human engineers to repair the planet's failing systems, while Liara's team provided knowledge on energy management and sustainability. Together, they saved the world, demonstrating that the combination of human creativity and Xylarian wisdom could achieve what neither could alone. Through these experiences, Kale and Liara grew closer. They shared not only responsibilities but also dreams, hopes, and laughter. Kale admired Liara's wisdom and compassion, while she admired his courage, humility, and unwavering sense of duty. Their bond was built on mutual respect, shared experiences, and the understanding that true partnership required trust and equality. One evening, after a long day of negotiations and planning, Kale and Liara sat together on the palace balcony, watching Aurora Prime's twin moons rise. The city below sparkled like a sea of diamonds. Liara leaned slightly toward Kale. "Do you ever think about what this means?" "Not just for us, but for the galaxy," Kale nodded. "Yes, I think about how humans are finally seen as capable and how we can inspire others to rise above fear, doubt, and tradition. This is bigger than any one of us. It is about showing that courage, intelligence, and heart can change the future." Liara smiled. "And you have done it, not through power or titles, but by being yourself. That is what makes you extraordinary." Kale felt a warmth in his chest. He had faced battles, tournaments, and threats that seemed impossible. Yet standing here with Liara, He realized that the greatest victories were not only on the battlefield, but in the hearts and minds of those he could inspire. The union of Kale and Liara became a symbol of hope throughout the galaxy. Young humans looked to the stars with dreams of courage and discovery, inspired by a warrior who had proven that age, size, or species did not determine worth. Aliens, too, saw that humility, intelligence, and integrity could create alliances stronger than fear or power. As years passed, Kale and Liara continued to lead missions, defend civilizations, and unite worlds. They faced new challenges, but each time they approached them with the same principles: courage, teamwork, intelligence, and compassion. The galaxy came to understand that humans, though young and small in number, were capable of great deeds and great leadership. The story of Kale, the youngest human warrior, and Liara, the Zalarian princess, spread across countless systems. It was told in schools, ships, and public squares. The story of how courage, intelligence, and heart could triumph over doubt and expectation. Their partnership demonstrated that true strength was not measured by size or power, but by the ability to act with integrity, inspire others, and face the unknown with confidence. One evening, as Kale and Liara watched a distant nebula from the balcony, Liara spoke softly. "Kale, do you remember when we first met? I was watching you in the tournament, unsure of what to expect, and now look at us." Kale smiled, eyes reflecting the colors of the nebula. "I remember. I never imagined that a young human like me could stand beside a princess, let alone make a difference in the galaxy. But here we are, and it is only the beginning." Liara took his hand, her grip firm yet gentle. "Together, we can face whatever comes next. And together, we will show the galaxy the best of humanity and Xylarian partnership." Kale nodded, feeling a sense of peace and purpose he had never known. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown dangers and possibilities, but with courage, wisdom, and heart, he believed that humans could rise to meet any challenge. And with Liara by his side, he knew that no obstacle was too great, no dream too distant. As the twin moons cast their silver glow over Aurora Prime, the young human warrior and the alien princess looked out at the stars. They were not just partners, not just allies. They were a symbol of unity, courage, and hope. The galaxy, once skeptical of humanity, now saw a species capable of greatness, guided not by fear or ambition alone, but by heart, intelligence, and the will to do what is right. The story of Kale and Liara would be remembered for generations. A tale of a human who rose above expectations, of a princess who valued character over tradition, and of a partnership that changed the course of the galaxy. Together, they had shown that courage and compassion could transcend worlds, and that even the youngest and most underestimated beings could leave an indelible mark on the stars. And so, under the twin moons of Aurora Prime, with stars stretching endlessly above, Kale and Liara stood side by side, ready to face the future. For humanity, this was only the beginning. For the galaxy, it was the dawn of a new era, an era of courage, unity, and hope that would shine across the cosmos for generations to come.